Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are looking at our Figure Friday. We have from the Bad Batch we have Omega. So I was kind of interested. I don't know how many figures we've gone through already for the Bad Batch series. I do know I picked up at least one version of all of them. I would be interesting to see, or I think it would be interesting to see if I say it in a little bit better proper English, if they come out with a version of Omega as she grows up. Seeing that now that we are done with the Bad Batch and we have seen her get to be a young woman and part of the Rebel Alliance, it would be an interesting thing to see if they come up with another figure of her as a young adult. So, let's see what we can find here and what we all have. This is her with her bow. If I can get her figure out of here. Alright, just trying to get this to get going here. And it's an interesting way to make a Christmas tree. Okay. Let's see, I think these we can kind of tear open a little bit more so we can see what we all have in here. And this is her bow. So it's going to go on her wrist, and let's see, how does this fold out here? We have to figure that out. Okay, so this kind of flips out here, I guess. Trying to figure that out. Got a piece that holds that in. I'm not certain how that opens. Well, of course, maybe that doesn't open, so I guess we're going to have to figure this out. Let's see what else we got. So, now we have a different head for her. So I'm going to guess that what she's got on right now is going to be the head with the helmet. And then we have something else here. So let's see what we have in this. Now, I'm sure most people are watching all the series, so you know who Omega is. Omega's from the Bad Batch, for those that don't. If they're not watching a cartoon and that, which is perfectly fine. And along with what Dave Filoni's been doing, seeing that Bad Batch is one of his creations, he's trying to keep everything kind of all together. So if you notice a lot of similar characters going between some of the different shows that he's involved in, he is trying to do an overextending arc, which is very nice to see. Okay, so we have that with the helmet, looks good. We have like a pick tool that goes around. Looks like this should be able to plug that in somewhere. We do have like a little divot here. So I'm going to see maybe I can plug that in here. If I can get my fingers to work correctly. And we do have a new camera, so I'm hoping that this is all working out pretty good. We used this on one other video. So everything seems like it's doing pretty good and that. So okay, then there we are. Okay, so we do have that there. So let's look and see what kind of joints we have. Of course, starting off with the angle, we have going left and right and front and back. We do have kind of a joint here just under the knee, so we can kind of rotate our shins. Then we have an upper thigh, because I did see a little crease there, so you can twist the thigh a little bit so you can try and get her seated in somewhere better. Possibly, I don't know if we could do this or not, kind of sit cross legged so she can kind of sit like this, crossing her legs, except she doesn't want to sit up. There we go. All right. So we'll get her back down there. Works pretty good. The hips, we do have like a joint here that moves, but having our belt and then of course having this, that's probably going to limit us a little bit, because I know the last time we were trying to do that with one of the other figures that had this, it did limit us to how much we can move. We have a joint right there at the wrist, so we can move the wrist up or back. We can rotate that around. On the arm right there at the elbow, we can kind of move this around here. So we can bring that around, up and down there. Otherwise, then we have a ball joint sitting right here, and it's only a single ball joint. I think this is going to fall off anyways. All right, so that means that we are limited as to how far we can go back, although it looks like, if you can see it on this side a little bit better, maybe. I think we have a little bit better movement backwards maybe than we do forward. Seems like, to me, it kind of seems like it, or maybe it's about the same. It's kind of hard to say. So, let's see if I can move the wrist. So it looks like she's maybe trying to chew on a candy bar or something. That'd be kind of cool. All right. And of course we have the head, and that's a ball joint there. So that works pretty good. Let's see how she does trying to hold her bow. What I'm trying to figure out here, because this should be able to go on her wrist. Maybe she can hold it in here. Yep. So we can sneak that in there. Okay, so we do have this piece in here, so she can kind of hold that. So if she's trying to do this on the ready, she's got that there. Or we can take that off and, uh-oh, did I break it? I don't think I broke it, but it almost seems like it did. Okay, the way that sits together there. So this being our bowstring, that does kind of pop off, and that just sits right in there. So kind of scared me. I thought I maybe broke it. All right. So let's see if we can get her aiming. We'll have to get her off on the side here. There, we got the thumb in there. That's kind of back here. And then this sits just underneath there. And we can swivel the head a little bit more. Maybe your feet out here a little bit. So depending on how this looks for you. There. Looks pretty good. I just can't see exactly how well you guys can see it. So I'll bring it a little closer. So she does look pretty good. And we can get that, and we did get her to stand like this, so that works pretty well. She does have a couple nice pouches here for whatever little gadgets that she's going to carry. And I'm still a little uncertain as to what this gadget's going to be. Honestly, I'm kind of drawing a blank. In some regards, it looks like it could be a communicator close to what Luke Skywalker had in Episode 4. But I don't remember her using something like this in the show. So I'm a little bit at a loss on there. But and then what we'll do is we'll get the head up, the other head up here. So if you swap the head out, she's got a nice head mold. She's got that nice bob cut of the hair. Looks pretty decent. It's kind of nice coloring on there. So that works pretty good. But all in all, for our Figure Friday, having Omega, which I think is a pretty neat character to have, if I can get her to want to stand up here. Just seems like she's rocking just a little bit when I move my fingers here. So, all right, and there we are. Now, because I do have Dinjar in here. Okay. And of course we'll bring Grogu up here. So when you look at size comparison, so we actually get a standard size comparison because this is our standard 6-inch figure. You know, she is a little bit smaller, so pretty much I'm going to guess right on par with like Bobby from our Dungeons and Dragons. So I think it works out pretty good, seeing that she is, you know, she is a little younger. She has the right scale, I think. So I think everything's working out pretty good. So I think this works out really well. And it's another good addition to the collection. So, and of course, if you look in here, it looks like it's a smaller head unit for you know, ball joint in there. So that is one of the interesting things, depending on what head mold you're using. From one figure to another. It seems like there's about 2 different sizes, it might be even 3, that they're using for the different connecting ball joints to try and swap out the heads. So it's not like you're able to just swap any head with any head. You're kind of limited. So if you're picking up multiples of one character or another and saying, hey, that's kind of a generic head, whether it was, and I'm just using Dinjar in here, if he had, you know, just a generic faceplate or whatever, if you said, hey, that's just going to be a standard faceplate, no big deal, and you wanted to put it onto a couple different ones, you may or may not be able to actually change out the head with one or another character. So that might get a little frustrating, or I know that people are a little bit better than I'm going to be, because in some regards I'm kind of a chicken on some of it to try and change out some of the heads or whatever. But sometimes with the ball joint, if it's a little on the smaller side, there are some videos where people know how to put like another piece on there so that way it'll upscale it a little bit. I'm a little on the leery side of doing it because I'm always afraid I'm going to mess it up. And when you're looking at these figures being $20 or more in some cases, some of these that I'm getting are under $20 because I'm buying them maybe at the stores, they're going on clearance, or they're on sale, or I'm getting them off of Amazon as they're going on sale or whatever. So, and some of them, you know, I'm being honest here, I'm finding them on sale. That's what helps me be able to get more of them. But you may or may not be able to change that head out with a different one if you're trying to do that, or if you're trying to take one and make it a little bit more of your own so you can insert yourself in there. You know, those are some of the cruxes that we sometimes have. So, but with that being what it is a great addition. I think it looks wonderful, and we'll see you in the next video.